When you think of a sociopath, what comes to mind? Most of us envision criminals, con artists, or manipulative masterminds. But what if I told you that not all sociopaths are violent or malicious? Some may even be your coworkers, friends, or family members. It's a contentious issue, but today we'll look at a rarely asked question. Can sociopaths be good people? Welcome to Wellness Lenses, where every conversation is a deep dive into mental wellness and psychology. So let's get into it. Understanding sociopathy, beyond myths. To start, let's define sociopathy. The term is frequently used synonymously with antisocial personality disorder. But there's more nuance here than you might expect. Certain personality traits, such as a lack of empathy, disregard for social norms, impulsivity, and frequently charm, are used to define sociopathy. These characteristics can, in extreme cases, lead to destructive behavior. Not all sociopaths are violent criminals or con artists. Here's where things get interesting. Not all sociopaths are naturally bad or evil. Many of them lead relatively normal lives. They have jobs, families, can form meaningful relationships. But how is that possible? Can someone without empathy or remorse be considered a good person? The answer might not be what you expected. Is there a moral compass for sociopaths? The real question we're addressing is whether someone who lacks empathy can still choose to do the right thing. In certain cases, the answer is yes. Some sociopaths, despite their lack of emotional attachment to others, can make rational decisions about what is socially acceptable or beneficial to them. This may be motivated by self-interest rather than compassion, but it does not always imply that they are harming others. In fact, some sociopaths use their traits to excel in structured environments such as business or law, where following rules and regulations leads to success. They may not feel morally motivated, but they understand which behaviors will help them succeed or avoid conflict. This does not fit the typical narrative that Hollywood has sold us, does it? You might be wondering, but can that really be called being good? Well, that's where things become complicated. Does doing good deeds without emotional motivation make them any less meaningful? If you've ever encountered someone you believe to be a sociopath, whether at work or in your personal life, please share your story in the comments section. I'd love to hear how others think about this idea. Sociopathy and relationships are more complex than we think. One of the most common misconceptions is that sociopaths are incapable of forming meaningful relationships. What's the truth? It's complicated. While sociopaths frequently struggle with emotional depth, they can maintain long-term relationships and friendships, sometimes for pragmatic rather than emotional reasons. A sociopath, for example, may be drawn to someone because they admire their status or lifestyle, rather than because they share a strong emotional bond. They may stay in the relationship because it benefits them, but this does not imply that they are mistreating their partner. In fact, some sociopaths can become quite protective of those they regard as valuable in their lives, treating them kindly in their own way. Of course, this does not imply that all sociopaths are capable of being good partners. Many people engage in manipulative or destructive behavior, but others may simply act in their own best interests without being overtly harmful. It's a subtle yet significant distinction. And here's a controversial question. Can sociopaths be beneficial to society? Let us think about that for a moment. Certain sociopathic traits, such as risk tolerance or emotional detachment, can lead to success in high-stakes situations. Entrepreneurs, lawyers, and even surgeons, professions where calculated risk-taking and emotional detachment can be advantageous, may benefit from these characteristics. Some researchers even argue that mild sociopathic traits can be found in people we admire for their charisma and leadership abilities. This raises an uncomfortable question. Is society's aversion to sociopaths based on fear of the unknown rather than the traits themselves? Could it be that we've created a stereotype that ignores the complexities of the situation? Can a sociopath be truly good? Ultimately, being good is not a binary concept. It is influenced by our personal beliefs, cultural norms, and expectations. For some, being a good person entails showing compassion and empathy. Others, even those who are not emotionally driven, care about making the right decisions. Sociopaths, despite lacking the emotional cues associated with morality, can choose to follow rules, help others, for their own reasons, and lead productive lives. The main takeaway here is that sociopathy does not always mean evil. It's a condition with a spectrum of behaviors, and sociopaths, like all humans, can make decisions, some of which are advantageous or even positive for those around them. Whether they feel it emotionally may not be as important as we believe. Let's look at a real-life example. since I've been getting so many questions about it. The Menendez brothers. Their case is one of the most infamous in American history, as they brutally murdered their parents in 1989. Many have questioned whether they were sociopaths, cold, calculated killers, or victims acting out of fear. It's easy to see how their actions fit the sociopathy stereotype: violent crime, lack of remorse, and attempts to conceal it. But this is where things become murky. Years of abuse, the brothers claim, drove them to commit their crime, which they justified as self-defense. Could they have been sociopaths, devoid of any genuine emotion? Sure, it is possible. However, their actions could also have been motivated by fear, trauma, or desperation. The truth is that without a psychological evaluation, it's difficult to definitively label someone as a sociopath based solely on media reports. In fact, it's entirely possible they weren't sociopaths at all, but rather individuals trapped in a terrible situation. This case serves as a reminder that those who commit extreme acts are not always easily classified. It calls into question whether we can truly understand someone's motivations based solely on their actions, or if the underlying story, the context, is just as important. So what are your thoughts? Can sociopaths be good people in your opinion? Or does their lack of empathy change everything? As you can see, we must consider what it means to be good, and whether sociopaths, despite their different wirings, can fit into that definition. It's easy to demonize a condition based on extreme cases, but reality is rarely so straightforward. The next time you hear the term sociopath, remember that the person may not fit the villainous stereotype that we've all been taught to expect. If you found valuable information in this video, please give it a like, share it with your loved ones, and don't forget to subscribe. In case you missed it, we're now on Substack. You can get free summaries of each video if you subscribe. And if you want full details of each video's topic, with references and helpful resources, we offer a paid subscription for a small fee. Just click the link below. See you in the next video.